Hello, welcome to Tanisha's Locks Beauty Tips and Potpourri. I am Tanisha Ali, and we're here today to talk about something that can be a dreadful issue when it's chronic and ongoing with your locks or your natural hairstyles, and that's dry hair and dry locks. We're going to break this down. I'm going to try to keep it kind of short because I am going to do a few follow-up videos that you can kind of pay attention to help you to determine issues that can aid you in trying to address problems with your dry hair, such as the porosity of your hair and different little spritzes and things that you may be able to put on your hair. Dry hair is something that you can deal with as a chronic situation. It's something that you can deal with because of your genetics. It's something that you can deal with based on the environment. It's something that you can deal with that can be contributed to by a number of different problems. So it's important to look at this and to address it from a holistic point of view. As I point out different things in the video today, choose 3 or 4 things to concentrate on. I think I'm probably going to pull out maybe 13 or 14 different things. Choose 3 or 4 to concentrate on, and as they become habits, then add extra layers of helpfulness by integrating some of the other things that I'm going to mention as well. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. You can do that right now. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you have not purchased my book, Manifesting Your Masterpiece, you can get it on Amazon. If you are interested in these 2 amazing products, or even the anti-aging serum, the acne serum, the chill magic, the ouch magic, go to IamMelaninMagic.com. As we talk about issues related to conditioning your hair, renewing your follicles, giving your hair a stronger foundation, these are 2 products that can really definitely help with that. They can help you to retain the moisture that you put in your hair, whether you're using water, aloe vera, rose water, or anything else like that. So let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. Okay, so what we are dealing with today really is looking at all of the different things that you need to keep in mind. Your hair porosity is critical. Your hair porosity is critical because whether you have low, average, or regular, or high porosity hair, that's going to determine what you are going to need to pay attention to with regard to your hair. Everybody's hair is different, so it's important for you to know what works with your particular hair. And this is not going to be a video getting too detailed with regard to porosity, because that's a pretty in-depth topic on its own. But let's just start out with the basics. If your hair is low porosity, your cuticles are tightly coiled, and a lot of moisture, it's difficult for things to get into the hair, okay, and to move down the hair shaft, which is what you would want your natural sebum and your oils to do. But because the hair is so tight, it's difficult for things to get in. By the same token, that can be beneficial because it's also difficult for things to get out. So once you can figure out how to moisturize your hair, it can be helpful. If you have average porosity hair or normal porosity hair, then there's a balance between what you can put in your hair. It's not so difficult, and then your hair can retain moisture. If you have high porosity hair, then you're dealing with areas of the cuticle that are more loosely spaced, so the hair can easily absorb moisture. It can absorb the conditioning treatments and anything else that you put in it, but then the challenge becomes retaining it because it just seeps back out. So people, for example, with high porosity hair experience a lot of dryness. They can experience thinning, scalp irritation, dry scalp issues, brittleness, and those sorts of things. When you have issues with dry hair, your hair may look dull, it may feel rough to the touch, it may feel brittle, and it's going to break easily. So you want to try to remedy these things as you go throughout your natural hair care journey. It's very, very important. So again, find what works for you. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the things you need to be mindful of. Let's talk about shampoos first. Shampoos in terms of choosing a shampoo that's not going to be very harsh on your hair and have a lot of harsh ingredients and chemicals in it, like sulfates, parabens, things of that nature. Also making sure that your shampoo is not too creamy, because that's going to contribute to residue and buildup on your scalp, which takes me to number 2, which is making sure that on a regular basis or at regular intervals you use a clarifying shampoo. Clarifying shampoo lifts the residues and the gunk and the dirt off your hair, which actually prevent your hair from being able to accept moisture, and the dirt and the bacterial buildup contribute to the dryness. So you want to be very, very mindful of that, okay? Use a clarifying shampoo that does not have a lot of junk in it, okay? That's going to be very helpful. The other thing I want to talk to you about, which most people, y'all, we hear this all the time, but a lot of people just don't get this. Like, I don't know, when y'all see me doing videos, I'm constantly drinking water. I drink close to a gallon of water a day. I can drink a gallon of water a day. I can easily drink 3 quarts. It makes a difference. Your body, your brain is sitting in an 89% salt water solution. Your bones, your lungs, your hair, your organs, your tissues, everything in order to be hydrated, i.e. moisturized, needs water. You have got to up your water intake. If you do not drink enough water, if you don't like water, first of all, for people who say they don't like water, I consider that a state of consciousness. And I will say that's one thing I'm a little bit judgmental about when it comes to water is life. You have to take it in. You have to put it on your body. You have to consume it as much as possible. At the very least, you should be consuming at least half your weight in ounces. So if you're 140 pounds, you need to be consuming at least 70 ounces of water a day. When the months are very hot, if you live in a very hot area, then you need to be mindful of that. You're going to need to consume even more water. I don't know if I have this on the list, but I'm going to bring it up because as I mentioned, living in a hot environment, I wanted to mention, say for example, you are using the I Am Melanin Magic Oil and you really want to assist with bringing more moisture into your hair. You may want to add a humectant to this, something like glycerin. Okay, humectants are elements that help to draw moisture into the hair or the skin, which is why we use humectants on our skin. The anti-aging serum does not have a humectant, and that brings me to my next point, and I'll tell you why. Humectants work with the environment to provide an equal ratio or a balance of moisture. So it takes from the air and it draws from the air into your hair. So if you live in a very humid environment, then a humectant would be a good idea, because adding a humectant like glycerin or something may be a good idea for you, because it's going to draw from the moisture out of the air and pull it into your hair. All right, but if you live in a dry environment where there's very little humidity, say like somewhere like Arizona where the heat is very dry, then what's going to happen is the humectant is going to draw from your hair and bring the balance out into the environment. So you wouldn't want a humectant in that particular situation. That's a very important point, and I just didn't want to forget to really talk about that. So let me go back to what I was talking about. When it's summertime and it's very, very hot outside, your hair, if it's already dry, is going to be in need of more moisture. So you are someone that needs to carry around a spray bottle. And you can put any number of things in that spray bottle. You can use aloe vera juice and water. You can use rose water with a couple of drops of essential oil. Keep your essential oils at about, if you're using like 4 ounces, use no more than about 10 to 12 drops of essential oils. Make sure you shake it very, very well. That's going to be critical because essential oils are hydrophobic, which means they are not water loving. All right, and so if you're not going to put something in them to help the water and the oil to combine, you're going to need to really shake it very well. I'm not a proponent of adding a lot of water and things to oils like this, because to me, I see a lot of people talk about that, and that's fine, it's their preference. But to me, I'd rather moisturize my hair first with water and then put something in there to help me retain the water and contribute to softness and conditioning, rather than combine those and know that some of that oil is going to coat my hair in a place where the water couldn't get in, and all I'm doing at that point is sealing in dryness. So I'd rather make sure my hair is very well moisturized first by spraying something that has water in it, a high water content, and then go in with a moisturizing, a conditioning, a renewing, and a moisture supporting oil such as that one. So that's kind of important. The next one, and I talked about the harsh shampoos, and I talked about the clarifying, coloring. Y'all, I have seen, just in the last 2 weeks, I saw two guys that had beautiful locks, and they were super long, and they had they had bleached their ends. And in my discussions with them, both talked about the assault that the bleach put on their hair and how they were still losing locks. One guy said about this much, which is about 4.5, 5 inches of hair that was just dropping off at the ends. I will tell you this, even though I have never used bleach, even when I use the regular hair coloring on my hair, and I did that for many years, were it not for me using this on a regular basis and my hair being very strong from the root on down, I would have lost a lot more hair. It will weaken your ends, and it will cause your hair to weaken. And you know, as much as I love color, and I may be getting ready to try something else, shout out to the beautiful Priscilla, who's telling me about a henna combination that I may try. I may try on a certain part of my hair, because my experience with henna, and I had the best henna because I got it from my Sudanese and my Somali family members. That henna, because of how I use the henna and what I did to my hair, eventually caused the breaking of my hair. So, but I am willing to try it on a section of my hair and to monitor it and see what happens, because anything that you begin to do to these locks, you have to be very careful. Y'all, it's like the retighteners. You don't see the breakage as it happens. You witness the cumulative effect of it when it starts to fall out. There hasn't been one person that I've spoken to with Sisterlocks that has not experienced major hair fall, or traditional locks with bleaching in particular. Coloring and going up a couple of levels is one thing. You still may experience some dryness, some brittleness, but you can go in with things to rebuild the integrity of the strands. However, bleaching really breaks down your hair. And even if you remember Ronnie, my daughter Sophia, when she colored the little blind pieces at the top, she lost a great deal of those. Her hair just started to drop. So now Naima, who has had her hair bleached, and she has her hair is out, I will tell you, she was expecting hair loss, but she used this on a regular basis, and her hair is way thicker than it was going in after the weight loss from COVID and the bleaching. And she attributes this to it. So my point is, if you're going to put something in your hair that you know is unhealthy, build the capacity of your strands, put your hair in the best place possible by making it as healthy as possible prior to going in. That is very, very important, okay? I think we're on number 5. Products that have artificial ingredients, synthetic ingredients that are very harmful for your hair, and things that contribute to build up, that attract a lot of dirt and lint, which would be heavier oils. Things like parabens, paraffins, sulfates, beeswax, anything with mineral oil, petroleum, those kind of things in your hair, those are a no-no. You want to stay as far away from those as possible. Next thing I want to talk about is, if you're someone that has dry hair, you need to understand, first and foremost, the difference between moisturization and conditioning and keeping your hair healthy, and doing things for your hair like giving it nutritional benefit, adding things that maybe the environment may strip out of your hair with other products. Oil is what is going to lay over top of the strand and seal in the moisture. Water is the moisture that you're going to want to get in your hair. The same way when you hydrate, you need to drink water. You're not trying to drink soda. You're not trying to drink anything else. You're trying to drink water. So your hair needs water to be hydrated. Now that can happen any number of ways. When you get in the shower, just, let your hair take in some of the steam from the shower. If you normally put on a shower cap and you have really dry hair, just pin your hair up on the top of your head. And don't get your hair drenched, but wash your face with the water. Don't put your hair directly in the water, but let your hair have an opportunity to absorb some of that water. Make sure you understand that you may be the person that needs to spritz your hair a couple, 3 times a day with just water, a high quality water, obviously not the tap water. If you can get alkaline water, if you can get water from like a healing well, like where I go to get my water down the Flovilla, I think it's going on 2 or 3 full years. 3 full years I've been going there. 3 full years and 2 months, I have not drank any other type of water unless I travel and get on the plane and can't take my water with me. But that's really important. The kind of water you're using, spray in your hair on a regular basis, okay? We talked about that shower cap. The satin scarf, y'all. Making sure that I'm not a one for satin scarves. I need to be one for a satin scarf. I need to be one to even have a satin piece of fabric over my headrest in my car, because my head is on that a lot, and I'm going to get a little bit more vigilant with this. But if you struggle with dry hair and your hair is breaking and your locks are thinning, you have to be on this like white on rice. You have to make sure that you're taking every single precaution and that you're doing every single thing that is going to be supportive for your hair. So wear a satin bonnet when you go to bed at night. If you know that you're riding somewhere, it's going to be a long trip, and you're going to be sitting with your back on the seat of your car, and it's going to be rubbing up against that nylon or the cotton or whatever it is that's going to be drawing the moisture out of your hair, make sure you just place a pillowcase or some other fabric like that that is not going to be so drying to your hair. This brings me to my next point. For those of you who like curls, like I do, you've seen me at different times use the end wrappers like we used to do when we were growing up for the sponge rollers, because they would give you beautiful curls, but they would also dry your hair out. So wrap your hair in the end wrappers before you roll it up. You can do that even when you're using the pipe cleaners. You can do that when you're using any of those types of rollers on your hair where your hair is coming up against something that's creating friction that has the potential to that can potentially draw moisture from your hair. So keep that in mind. Avoiding artificial heat. You might ask yourself, like, who is using artificial heat on their locks? But many of us will use a hair dryer sometimes on our locks to get them halfway dry. This is something you should never be doing in the summertime. You should always be air drying your hair in the summertime. By the way, don't put the oils on until your hair is almost dry, till it's just a little damp. Don't put the oil on right when your hair is soaked after washing it, because you don't want to create a mildew situation. You want to give your hair a chance for the air to circulate. But definitely, if you can avoid using the blow dryer on your hair and let your hair air dry, it's going to work better for you. If you can eliminate the use of curling irons on your hair. I know a lot of women who used to use curling irons on their Sisterlocks, because you can curl these. I think I did that a few times in the beginning around the top to get 2 little curls here. I would use the curling iron. I didn't do it that often, but I needed something to give me immediate heat, so then I could put the roller in for maybe 5 or 10 minutes and get a little bit of a curl. So that's something that you are definitely going to want to be mindful of. Eliminate any artificial sources of heat, all right? And if you find that you are using heat on your hair, like even when you're in the shower or you're sitting out in the sun, know that the heat will open up the cuticle, which will make it more receptive to moisture. Make sure you go in with something hydrating, all right? And then eventually, if you're in the shower and you're washing your hair and the water is hot, I tend to love hot water. Make sure when you're done, because the cuticle is open, all right? So anything you're putting in your hair is going to be a little bit more receptive to it. If it's good for you, then you want to close that by closing that off, and you can do that by putting your hair under cool or cold water. It'll help to close the cuticle and help your hair to hold in what it is that you're putting in your hair that you feel has nutritive value. I don't want to go to that last one yet. I do want to spend a little bit of time specifically to talk about aloe vera. And that is because aloe vera is excellent. My mom used to put it on our blisters and our burns, and it would start to heal in a day. it's just really amazing. It's good for your digestive tract. It's wonderful for your skin. It's amazing for your hair. It's helpful for your scalp. It is also a humectant, as I mentioned, so it draws moisture in. It helps with inflammation. It helps keep your follicles healthy. It does so much. So if you're suffering from hair dryness, get some aloe vera juice, put it in a spray bottle, and just spritz your hair with that throughout the day. You can add a little bit of water to that if you want. You can add a little bit of rose water. You can put a few drops of essential oils as well if you choose to. Again, remember to shake very, very, very well. But a lot of people have found wonderful results with aloe vera oil. I've only used it on my hair a couple times, but I am going to try it for you all. In about a week, I'm going to use it on a regular basis so that I can give you a little bit more adequate feedback in terms of my own personal experience with aloe vera oil, okay? Let me see if there's anything else that I have left. Oh yeah, I talked about getting steam treatments. Because again, the heat opens the cuticle, your hair takes in the steam, the moisture, it is more hydrated. So if you're suffering from dry hair, make sure that you consider doing steam treatments or getting steam treatments. And you may decide that you want to add herbs to those steam treatments, that you may want to do a pre-steam treatment ritual to work on your hair prior to the steam treatment. You may decide that after the steam treatment, there are things that you want to add to your hair to increase its ability to be strong. So consider the steam treatments. A lot of people have never done steam treatments even before they had their locks, and they can be a wonderful addition to your hair care regimen, especially if you're dealing with dryness. I am almost finished, okay? I've got one last thing, y'all, and that is your diet. For some reason, when we hear diet, it's the thing that we dismiss the most. We dismiss it easily. We don't want to think about changing what we eat, but you are what you eat, and you will notice that as your diet changes, your skin changes, your hair changes. If you have a diet that is highly processed, that is highly acidic, that is deficient in water, green, leafy vegetables, and things of that nature, your hair is going to be dry and brittle. You're going to see the impact of the deficiency in your diet in your hair. And I mean it. If you need to take supplements as you transition to a healthier diet, take supplements. If you have to drink shakes and add, I use Greens 8000. I love it. It's wonderful. I've been doing that now for over a decade. It's wonderful. It's like the equivalent of 20 vegetables in your, if you can't get your vegetables fresh, or you're not someone that loves to eat them, then getting them however you can get them is what is important. And a lot of these things that are on the market today are highly nutritive, and they provide for the deficiencies that most of us have in our normal everyday environment. I cannot tell you enough, which is why I saved this one for last, number 14. I cannot tell you enough the importance of making sure that you really, really eat healthier. Cut out some of the stuff that's not helping your body. If it's not helping your body, it's not good for your body, then it's certainly not going to be good for your hair. If you need to supplement, and you need to add some sulfur to your diet, or you need to check your minerals, your manganese, your zinc. If you know that you're not getting enough omega-3 fatty acids and you need to take supplements for that, garlic, cayenne, anything that you know is going to assist you in terms of a vitamin supplement. You may be deficient in folic acid. You may be deficient in, may not be getting enough vitamin E, not enough A, not enough K. If you're not getting a healthy, balanced, nutritional diet, your hair is not going to get the nutrition it needs either. So I hope that this video helped you to understand some of the ways that you may be at a deficit when it comes to making sure that your hair is healthy and you give your hair the greatest advantage in terms of hair care as possible. I hope that this video helps you to understand that water is what you need to hydrate your hair, and water is free for most of us. Well, if it's coming out of the tap. Let's say it's not free, because most of us shouldn't be drinking that anyway. You're drinking something that is a higher value, hopefully not in a plastic bottle. It's the money that you may be spending is going to be marginal, which means you can spray your hair throughout the day. It's something that you should try for a 30-day period. and you should see the difference that it makes. Again, always make sure that water is being used to hydrate your hair. An additional humectant that you can put in a product that you may be using on your hair if you live in a very humid environment. I'm in a humid environment. Sometimes it's 89% humidity where I am. It is moist. It's like a blanket when you go outside. So humectant could benefit me because it's going to draw in moisture from outside and bring it into my hair. But again, avoid those if you're in very arid, very dry environments. But do understand that to retain the moisture and to also build the nutritional intake and to create a stronger foundation for your hair, you're going to need to go in with an oil. Be mindful of the kind of oils you're using, because you don't want the kind of oils that are going to create buildup, because buildup is going to create another issue in your hair, which is going to create eventually some drying. So I tried to keep this video as short as possible. You all know I can talk a lot and I can go on and on and on, but it is my intention to follow up with some additional videos in the next couple of months that have to do with working with your locks when they are dry, different things that you can do. You want them to look good, which is why we use the oil that gives it a sheen. The light hits it, bounces off of the oil, and your hair looks lustrous. So we like that. We know that the oils make our hair softer. The oils, give our hair some of the missing ingredients that we're not getting via the diet or the environment. The oils, depending upon the makeup and the synergistic blend of the oils, help our hair to bounce back. They help with frizz. They help with so many things. They help to regenerate new hair. They help build follicle strength. But we need the water for the moisture. We need the oils to seal in and to give us the conditioning and to give us the moisture retention and all of the other benefits. So I hope that this video helped you. Again, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And if you're interested in the I Am Melanin Magic brand, just go to IamMelaninMagic.com and you may order. I love you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for tuning into the video today. And if there's something that you do in particular that you think will be helpful in terms of moisturizing your hair, put it in the comment section, or better yet, send me a 1-minute video. Give me a Google link to it, and I will put you in one of my videos as I share with the rest of the broader community. Loving you. Bye.